That's a violation. Chapter 6, final details, page 2, final exam. You pass with an 87.5%. So, number 1, an appraiser completes a deficient appraisal report for a client, and the client suffers a $5,000 loss as a result. The state appraisal regulatory agency requires an appraiser to pay $5,000 to the client. What is the sanction called? You said restitution, and that is correct. Number 2, the most severe level of violation specified in the Appraisal Foundation's disciplinary action matrix is, you said, level 5, and that is correct. Number 3, a licensed appraiser has been found by a state appraisal regulatory agency to have committed a level 1 violation. Which of these possible sanctions would the appraiser be most likely to receive? You said formal reprimand, and that is correct. Number 4, an appraiser completes a deficient appraisal report and receives a sanction from the state appraisal regulatory agency that specifies 45 hours of corrective remedial education. Can the appraiser use this education to satisfy her required continuing education? You said no. None of the remedial education can be used towards the appraiser CE. That is correct. Number 5, an appraiser commits a willful, intentional violation of the ethics rule in completing an appraisal. This act by the appraiser would be considered a blank violation in the Appraisal Foundation's matrix. You said level 5, and that is correct. Number 6, which of these factors would be considered an aggravating circumstance in an appraisal disciplinary case? You said C, refusal to cooperate with the investigation. That is correct. Number 7, which of these factors would likely be considered a mitigating circumstance in an appraisal disciplinary case? You said C, reissuance of corrected appraisal report before a complaint was filed. That is correct. Number 8, in a real property appraisal, USPAP requires an appraiser to analyze the prior sales history of the subject property for a period of blank prior to the effective date. You said 3 years, and that is correct. Number 9, you got wrong. Which of these actions by an appraiser is not a USPAP violation? You said failure to analyze the current agreement of the subject property. That is incorrect. The correct answer is failure to include the appraiser's certification number and title. Okay. Number 10, the subject is a mixed-use property, but a mortgage lender client asked the appraiser to value the property solely as a residence and not mention that it is a mixed-use property in the appraisal report. The appraiser complies with the client's request. Is this a violation? You said yes. The appraiser has mischaracterized the subject property. That is correct. Number 11, an appraiser completes an appraisal on a property and transmits the completed report to the client. Which of these would be an inappropriate reason for the appraiser to change the appraised value for this property? You said if the client has requested a change in the appraised value to meet the pending sale price. That is correct. Number 12, an appraiser is making a correction to an appraisal report that had originally been transmitted to the client 1 week ago. Which statement is true regarding the situation? You said the revised report should have a new report date, and that is correct. Number 13, in an appraisal report, what is the significance of the date of the report? You said it is the date the report is transmitted to the client. That is correct. Number 14, an appraiser transmitted an appraisal report to a client and several days later was requested to add an additional comparable sale. The appraiser added the additional comp and is preparing to transmit the revised report to the client. Which date in the appraisal report needs to be changed? You said the date of the report only, and that is correct. Number 15, what does USPAP require of an appraiser with regard to errors in an appraisal? You said an appraiser must avoid substantial errors or a series of errors that affect the credibility of the results, and that is correct. And lastly, number 16. You missed it. Which type of error is specifically prohibited by Standard 1 of USPAP? You said a mathematical error. That's wrong. The correct answer was substantial error of commission.